Welcome to Hops News, the trusted source in beer culture news. Here's your host, Jay Brew.
Hey, and we're back. Man, I'll agree with Matt tonight. He said it. It feels like it's been about 6 months since we've been back on this side of things. Lot going on in everybody's life. I'll be honest with you. I'd be lying to you if I said that things weren't more challenging to get us all together as the pandemic have left us, right? Like, it is a challenge now. I think the analogy herding cats, right, comes to mind when we try to put together an episode nowadays, because everybody has everything going on in their lives again. So it's a little bit of a challenge, but it's good to be back when we are back here. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but I think, and if I'm being honest with you, we were on Instagram last week, had a great episode there, really dove into some beer numbers, production numbers that were released by the Brewers Association. Had a great time talking about that on Instagram. Sorry about that. I'm going to tell him myself now. I'm drinking Hoppy's last package that she sent. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I was a kid that grew up, like, what kid doesn't grow up wanting Mountain Dew, because there's literally like 3 cups of sugar in this 12-ounce can. It's really not that bad. I mean, it literally tastes like Mountain Dew. And there's supposedly 0 sugar in it, 5% alcohol, and 100 calories. So, yeah, the 16-year-old me in high school would have been crushing the fuck out of these, and I'm sure there's a bunch of them doing it now. So,
I'd be playing video games all night, just pounding those.
Yeah, I guarantee. Yes, I guarantee you, it would be obviously nobody's going to do it, right? But a great study would be like, what's the top-selling brands for underage drinkers, right?
Wine coolers, Smirnoff Ice.
Mountain Dew, hard Mountain Dew. I guarantee you that some bitch is up there pretty high right now. But we'll never know those numbers because nobody will want to release information like that. Right. But yeah, this is one from Lauren, one of her last boxes. And again, I don't know. I think it was pretty. Matter of fact, I think the reason Lauren sent it to us is because Florida was like the first and maybe the only state for a while. Florida and Tennessee, I think, maybe if my memory recalls, that released this product. So, yeah, I'll be honest with you, I'd buy it again, just for shits and giggles. But pretty good drink. We got Lauren and Matt that are joining us. First, let's go check in. Man, I will tell you right now, my wife and I have always wanted to travel out west, and we still do. And every time Matt comes up on a long weekend, this guy sends my jealousy meter like to the fucking moon. If you don't follow this guy's social media accounts, his personal accounts, you need to go check those out. He has traveled the West almost. I mean, he's hit a lot of the major ones. Matt, you're like, you could do tours out there, man.
Yeah, so I've hit up a lot of national parks. Like, I would say probably half the national parks in the country I've been to almost now. So we're actually in the process, since we're driving down to Disneyland in August, we're going to be going through Yosemite as well. So we'll be knocking Yosemite off the old list coming up here soon. But yeah, no, we're traveling. We went to the Grand Teton National Park this past weekend for Memorial Day. We stayed out in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, which, if anybody knows anything about Jackson Hole, it was like an old, like, it's at the base of those mountains pretty much, and it's a old like watering town for cowboys and stuff. So it was cool. And I hit up 3 different breweries there. So in addition to hiking and stuff, we actually went out and hiked probably about 5-6 miles each day, which with the kids is pretty impressive. Um, we went to the first brewery was Snake River, which I'm drinking tonight. I'm drinking their Code 3 IPA, which their back of it says handcrafted in Jackson Hole. The Code of the West, 10 principles that embody the best of cowboy life. No, number 3, always finish what you start, is a favorite of brewers and drinkers alike. Brewers appreciate the portion of sales of this beer benefiting the Wyoming Craft Brewers Guild, while drinkers can appreciate the guild. I'm sorry. While brewers and drinkers can appreciate the addition of guild member 95's Idaho hops, it's a 6% IPA, which it's pretty clean, pretty good. And then yeah, so they were 2 times Small Brewery of the Year, Great American Beer Fest, and what's cool about this is on the can it says "Put our river through your liver" because they brew with water straight from the Tetons, which is a really rad
That's
national park
hilarious.
if nobody's been there. Yeah, right. So Jackson Hole is probably about 15 minutes from Teton National Park. It's a gigantic ski town, and when it's a really small town, but there's a lot going on, a lot of people. But the national park itself was actually pretty empty, which was nice. It felt like we had the park to ourselves. We got into the park Saturday morning or Sunday morning at 7. There was a moose and her calf just wandering around. We saw a ton of elk, antelope, just all sorts of animals while we were hiking. Hiked up one of the mountains there to Inspiration Point, hiked around Jenny Lake, hiked a couple other lakes, and saw plenty of bear tracks. Thankfully, no bears, because I was not trying to handle bears with 2 small kids, or I should say small, but my one kid is the size of a 10-year-old. So, but Snake River Brewing, we went there first, and you show up to the brewery. It's like at the base of the skiing mountain, and it's got their water tower sitting right outside, and everybody has slapped stickers on it. Like, this thing is just caked in stickers. They got cornhole boards sitting outside, a gigantic fire pit sitting outside, a lot of chairs. Like, the vibe is super cool. And then in addition to that, you go inside, you can go upstairs and eat their food. I had a bison burger there. I can't recommend their food enough. And they had a bunch of different beers on tap. I had a flight, about 5 or 6 pours. Every beer is really good. From there, we went to Roadhouse Brewing Company, which is like literally up the road half a mile around the corner at the center of town. And man, I gotta tell you, that place was pretty sick. Like, their food there was decent. We got the kids dessert there or whatever, but I had their s'more stout, I had their IPAs, and that place another really must kind of hit. It was busy. Like, man, the wait to get in there was like 45 minutes to just sit down, and they had like outside seating upstairs, so you kind of look out over the town and see some mountains. And then the last place we went to, which was actually my favorite, was called Still West Brewing, and it's literally across the street from the ski resort. So you're watching ski lifts go up, And funny enough, it was kind of crappy weather all weekend, so it's snowing on this mountain. You go upstairs, it's an all glass view, and you're just watching the ski lifts go up. Obviously, nobody's skiing right now. Otherwise, you could be watching people in the wintertime. But every beer I had there was an absolute banger. I had like this really good oatmeal stout, and then I had their coffee blonde, which if you've never had a coffee blonde, holy shit, dude, I cannot recommend that one enough. It was amazing, 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 amazing.
Those
It
beers are
tasted just like
underrated.
coffee. Well, yeah, like it. They brew it with like local coffee too. So Jackson Hole's got a distillery. It's got they brew their own coffee, wines. Everything is in this town, and for being a small town, they do a lot of stuff. And so that was my favorite, Still West. So if you're heading out there to go skiing or anything this winter, like Still West is the vibe. And I even posted in our Patreon group the scenery from right there and the flights and everything. So I didn't have a bad beer while I was out there. So funny enough, there are great breweries in the small town, which is cool. And then yeah, we just hiked all weekend at the Teton National Forest there, National Park, and of course it was kind of rainy, cloudy, but the clouds kind of parted. We got lucky, and yeah, if you don't know where the Tetons are, they're right 60 miles south of Yellowstone. So you can really, if you plan out your trip for 5 days, spend like 2 in the Tetons and 3, maybe 4 in Yellowstone. There's no place on earth that's like it, man. I cannot tell you enough. There is no place on earth that is quite like it. It's hard to believe that places like this exist. And so I'm pretty excited to go see Yosemite. We just like to travel. You know, life's too short, and life is all about adventures. So we grab good beer everywhere we go. We travel, and we have a 6 and a 3 year old, and both kids have probably seen all but 4 or 5 states at this point. So super lucky, man.
That's awesome.
And if you weren't jealous of Matt before, you should be now. Man.
I definitely mean, actually, to believe it or not. So when you go through the town of Victor, Idaho, so you kind of go off the beaten path for a bit, and it's beautiful country on the eastern portion of Idaho, right? Grand Teton Brewing, which is in Victor, Idaho, is gorgeous. It is a nice short staff, so their hours are limited, which sucks because I really wanted to go to them, and so they might be. And then you go through this mountain pass where it was like a blizzard going through this mountain pass, and it's May, end of May, so it was kind of funny that I got all the seasons. But yeah, Grand Teton Brewing, they're looking for help and workers right now, and they are one of the most renowned breweries of the West Coast.
Yeah, long commute for me.
You can maybe you can work virtually. I mean, it's a virtual world anymore, right?
Yeah.
Can I pour beers virtually? It does take a long time with the like tab
Every-
line.
Everybody can.
It'd be like a
Yeah,
cartoon.
right.
Right?
So
Yeah, that's awesome, Matt. You again, I can't tell you enough how jealous I am of that, and hope we can come out there and experience that someday soon.
I hope so. I will say one quick last bit is about an hour and a half from me. I went to some other mountains a couple weeks ago, Ketchum, another gigantic ski place, and I went to Warfield Distillery, which, Jeremy, if there's a place to have a beer and a cigar together, that's the place that I think you guys would really enjoy. It's up in the mountains, and they have their own distillery. Their Coppers distills, and their beer there was fantastic. And their food, you get a good bison burger. Oh my god, delicious.
I'm sold, man. Send me their link.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I mean, I can send you pictures right now, and you can. So while we talk to Lauren, because we haven't seen Lauren, and it's been a while. I'm glad we're back here, kind of doing this. I know we're experimenting with some things, so it feels good to be talking some beer news and just seeing everybody's faces again.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is kind of the comfort zone, right? Like here, I feel comfortable now.
Today at
Like-
work sucked, so I needed this.
Yeah, yeah. Like this is at some of the lowest times, right? In the past couple of years, this is where we were at every, at least once a week. So
Forged
Yeah.
fire.
yeah, I get it, man, and it's kind of funny because it is. It's been I'll like everybody, I think this week has been a little bit of a challenge, but yeah, it kind of feels good to be back. Matt, I'm jealous. I hope that I can come out there and see your neck of the woods sometime soon. Hopefully before you leave there, for sure.
You got about a year and a half at most left. I should be finding out this time next year where our next adventure is.
Wow, it's so crazy that you don't know.
Oh, yeah. No idea. I mean, for all I know, I could be staying here. But yeah, this time next year, I should be finding out the next adventure. And I just
Nice.
sent you a picture of the Warfield Distillery. So if you want to throw that
Nice.
up at some point, let everybody see. They'll get to see it.
I'll check it out. Let's go check in with Lauren down there in balmy Orlando. Lauren, what's the temperature down there?
I have no idea. I don't know, 90 something probably. We were melting yesterday, but I didn't go anywhere super fun like Matt this weekend, but I did go down to Fort Lauderdale for 24 hours and got to go to a brewery down there. So when you hear South Florida and you think Jay Wakefield, you think Tripping Animals, which are obviously amazing. Three Suns is getting on the map now, invasive species. But there's this little place called Kaufner Brewing, and they do a lot of like German-based beers, and they are definitely a brewery that if you're in the area you should check out. They're just outside of downtown Fort Lauderdale, and they're in like a marketplace. I feel like those spots are popping up down here. I don't know if they are around the rest of the country, but it's Sistrunk Marketplace, and you walk in there and there's a full liquor bar. There's places you can buy wine. There's different food options like sushi or tacos, and then there's the actual brewery, and you can see all the vats behind it's a huge glass thing behind the taps, and you can see all of the brewing equipment in there.
Ooh.
So it's a really cool little spot. We celebrated my friend's 40th birthday there after we all got tattoos. I got a hop tattoo.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Kind of a big deal for me. It's my first.
What?
So that was really cool. But Kaufner Brewing, don't sleep on them. However, while I was getting the tattoo, Josh was busy going to Jay Wakefield and Tripping Animals. But he did bring me back souvenirs. So I am drinking a Hippo Hooray Triple IPA with Citra, Azaka, and Simcoe hops. And it is fantastic at 10%. Absolutely fantastic. And as always, Tripping Animals has got that sweet, sweet can art.
Oh yeah, it does.
But he did get videos for me, so you'll end up seeing those eventually on the Hops News TikTok. Although the Jay Wakefield one's going to need to go on Geeks too, because if you haven't been to that brewery or seen pictures, the whole brewery is Marvel and Star Wars. And DC. There's some Batman in there too. But it's really cool.
Nice.
Oh, do you still want to see what the temperature is?
Yeah, what
It's
is the
late
temperature?
evening now. Where's my weather app? The temperature is... The thing that kills us is the humidity. It's only 82 right now. Today was a high of 90.
God damn it.
That's ugly.
It is brutal, but I'll be honest with you. It was fucking 93 degrees here today, and it's still 88 degrees out there.
Might take my weather over you guys.
I'm gonna
Yeah, dude.
need
Probably
stock and gold bond.
Yeah.
That's a good trip. It's always fun when you go on those, overnight trips or a regular weekend away to places that you don't get to often but aren't too far away, and you get to explore some of those gems like that. I'll be.
And I had been to that brewery before, but it was just a tiny little spot, and so they moved to this like marketplace. But I went there years ago, and I had expected to start hearing more about them, and I'm surprised I haven't. It's like the breweries that are really making a name for themselves, like it seems like throughout the country, are the ones that make fantastic hazies. And this is a German-based one, so like I tried a Doppelbock. The Doppelbock was really good. They had I think it was an espresso Doppelbock, maybe it was an espresso type of stout. I can't remember exactly. But so I was very excited to see that they've grown, but I don't think that these breweries that aren't making hazies, and I sound hypocritical saying that because I love hazies, they're not getting the credit that a cop killer deserves, so yeah.
Yeah.
So hit up Kaufner if you like true beer geekiness. Yeah, and when I asked the guy a couple questions, like, because not many people were sitting at the bar, like he was happy to talk beer and answer questions and stuff. But I liked it.
Yeah, you got to nerd out every once in a while, right?
Yeah.
Especially
But this was like we went down for the party and had to be back in time to host a graduation party for my daughter. So it was a quick say happy birthday, do your thing, let's go home. I don't even think we were there 24 hours. We were like 22.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a quick turn and burn, but it's always those that, at least for my wife and I, we always appreciate those. I think probably a little bit more than what most people realize.
Yeah, and in Florida's a great state to do it in.
Yep. Yeah, it's always fun to do things like that, Hoppy, and especially I mean you got great beer in Florida. I mean anybody that says otherwise is just doesn't understand what's going on in the beer scene in Florida. So you've got got some great products down there to try for sure.
Yep. And I'm trying to make sure everybody knows that.
As you should.
Mountain Dew seltzer.
Yeah, as you should. Although the hard Mountain Dew is pretty good too. I have to admit, the hard Mountain Dew out of Florida
Gross.
was.
I didn't hate it.
I mean, you
If you like
can't.
Soda, you'll love it, but it's not something I would ever reach for. Like 2 of them, because there was 4 different ones, so it came a 12-pack. I sent 4 to you, and I sent 4 to Patrick, and I brought 4 over to a friend's house, and we all took sips trying them. But 2 of them tasted like fake sugar. It was just gross.
Yes.
Like if you like that Diet Coke fake sugar taste, then you might like them.
Hey,
which
funny
I know some
enough,
people do.
I have a real Mexican Coke sitting in the fridge right now.
Those are
Nice.
I don't
Yeah.
drink soda, but somehow it's sitting in my fridge. Also, we have a new brewery opening today
yummy.
in Boise, which is pretty cool, called Idlewild. So if you are in the Boise area, or Garden City, sorry, since Garden City is technically within Boise or whatever, they open up today in the Old Barbarian Brewing Complex, and they're open 4 to 9. I'm really hoping to make it out there. Probably won't be this weekend with everything I have going on, but hopefully next year I can make it out there. Or next week. Jesus, next week, not next year. My God. And yes, Josh, I'm talking about the Mexican Coke that you're thinking about. You got to earn a living. Have you seen gas prices? They're $5 a gallon out here in Idaho.
Watching too much
I have to
Ozark.
pay. I'm paying $50 to fill up the Toyota Yaris of all things. I got a little side hustle, okay?
You better have. You definitely better have.
God
I was just
damn.
going to ask that. I was going to ask the immature question of like the real Mexican Coke.
God, I wish. I'm about to, all
Don't worry,
those
my husband asked
washed
it
up,
for you.
all those boats and stuff that wash up in Florida where they find like 100 pounds of cocaine. Like, I'm going to start fishing for those. I don't want fish. I'm going to go fishing in the Gulf just for those.
Yeah, like they post pictures of it and all of that shit. Like if I ever found
Show
that, you'd
off.
never know about it.
Oh, no. I
The
mean,
only-
no, absolutely not.
The only thing that would know about it is my bank account.
But you
Listen,
gotta
I'm
sell
running
it, though.
bricks. For legal
What?
purposes, this is a joke.
Lauren, do you
But-
think selling a kilo of Coke is hard?
No.
Okay. I was
Listen,
just
have you
making
seen
sure.
the world today? The state of the world is a little bent out of shape. So I feel like we can offer that escape for like 15 minutes or whatever it is.
We have UCF campus right over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
That-
Boise State.
Need
You
help
tell me those
studying?
kids don't want to do a little
That-
blow? Come on.
You don't need
That
that.
kilo would be diluted to like 12 in a half hour and sold in 45 minutes.
For real, like, look, I'm next to Oregon, which Oregon has legalized like everything. You telling me I can't sell that in about 30 minutes at a Walmart parking lot?
Yeah.
Sell
and,
it
hey,
in Starbucks parking lot.
yeah, that would be worth the drive out there, to be honest with you. Not risk having to get caught and just selling it. Like, what's the market? Yeah.
Listen, I've seen some of the people. I see those truckers. How else
Yeah.
are they going to stay awake driving all night?
Yep, for sure. Especially all the way out there on the West Coast.
Speaking of, I gotta hit this beer news that I texted you guys. So for those of you who like to lift weights, you're in luck because there's going to be a new beverage. It's called Protocol, and it is spiked protein. And one of their flavors is pineapple pump, swoleberry, in Orange County. So they say, is spiked protein necessary? No, but do we have your attention? Absolutely. And so it's going to be 8% alcohol by volume with 11 grams of protein. So if you're just banging it out in the gym, just trying to get your pump on, why not take the edge off with a little swoleberry or pineapple pump? As you can see right there.
Listen, I can already picture who's buying Swoleberry.
Oh, I'm gonna buy some of this. I need to try it.
Even drink, bro.
Yeah.
I need to try it.
I can picture the common customer for Swoleberry already.
It's juice heads.
Yeah.
It's those guys who don't re-rack their weights in the gym and who set their phone up right by the dumbbell racks and get mad when people walk in front of it.
I love it. Yeah, I haven't as it shows, I haven't been to the gym. Man, that looks good.
Cloud Candy from Mighty Squirrel out of Massachusetts.
Nice. I haven't been to the gym since the new social media phase, so all of that would be new to me, but I can't imagine.
It's the worst. So as you watch me pour my beer real quick, yeah. So the new thing is like I got no hate against people who like to like record themselves when they lift, right? Because honestly, that's a good way to check your form and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
exactly.
However, people who set it up like in high traffic areas, like there's a trend on TikTok where people set it up in high traffic areas and then it's just them getting mad at people for walking in front. It's like, come on, dude, you're not the only one in the gym. And then those people who don't wipe down the stuff afterwards, so like you're sitting in their ball sweat. Gross.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's that's definitely a mental image to take away from that for sure.
Those are the people.
Matt, while we have you here, let's go talk about the photos that you sent in. I'll show up the first one. You can chat about that real quick. That is, I mean, you're talking damn near June, and this is your view.
So that one, this is from Warfield Brewery and Distillery in Ketchum, Idaho. It's about an hour and a half drive from me, but this area is where all the celebrities have like houses and ski houses and stuff like that. And the town is wicked nice. There's two breweries. You have this one, and then you have Sawtooth Brewery because they're in the Sawtooth Mountains. And so there's a lot of hiking in the summertime. There's a lot of 12,000-foot mountains, which one of them I did a couple of years ago. And then you can ski. It's a big time ski town. And so I got this flight here. You can also do like a flight of their whiskey, their gin, and their vodka that they do there. They have copper tins and things like that. It's super nice. Their food is delicious and so amazing. Their stout was probably the best, to be honest with you. The feisty was pretty good for an IPA, and the others were just like the KK was a Kolsch. You had the Pilsner, the Porter, and then the Ho, which I think was just their Hefeweizen, and then the feisty was an IPA, and then the stout was just your kind of run of the mill stout, but it had a lot of rich aromas in it.
With a view like that, like how much does the view buy you, right? Like
Oh,
if the
man.
beer was shitty, right? Like you could go in there and every single one of those beers in that flight could be shitty, and you're still going to enjoy them.
Absolutely. And every year, so this was before they actually opened up their upstairs patio. So they have a big event every year, which is like the middle of May because there's still a bunch of snow, as you can see when this happens. This was May, and and they have like their outdoor patio because at this time when we went, it had snowed the night before, so there was actually a ton of snow all over the place, even, which is crazy because you just don't even realize it. But just going up there, the whole vibe. For me, I'm a sucker for views. And so if I'm drinking beers like this in front of mountains and views like that, I am sold 100%.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I can you imagine it? I mean, you did it damn near June, and it's a view. Can you imagine the middle of like February? What that place was
Oh,
like?
man.
Too cold.
It's well too cold, but
Lord.
like, well, yeah, I mean, but there's a lot of ski resorts up there, so you can
Yeah.
just chill in the cabins all day, things like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's got to be an amazing time.
Year-round?
You can ski and go get a beer afterwards. I mean, it's crazy. A lot of people don't realize that this is what Idaho really looks like. Yeah, there's a lot of brown parts and things like that, which is just like a lot of farms and things. But 90% of the state is mountains that are kind of like this.
I love it. Let's check out the other one. Let's go to the next one. Here's the other one.
Yeah. So this is from the Tetons. This is in Jackson Hole, and this was what I was telling you about. Like, so this was at Still West, and that it was snowing that evening, and we took the kids there. They got some dessert, and I was like, Carrie had some wine, but you're just looking. That's the back side of like the ski mountain, so they'll take you up, and you can ski on the other side. It's crazy. It's all glass panels. So even if it was snowing, can you imagine all that just covered in full white snow and there's people running around with their snowboards and stuff? Like, again, the vibe. And so that the one on the left was just a regular Pilsner. The next one was their coffee blonde, which, my goodness, I cannot recommend enough. That coffee blonde was like the best beer that I have. That was my favorite beer in all of Jackson Hole.
Nice.
And then the next one over that is the stout, and then their Doppelbock is their one on the far right, which the Doppelbock was really good. The stout was a good oatmeal stout. So I didn't have a bad beer there. Like I said, that was my favorite beer. Not that any of the beers are bad, but this was my favorite brewery the whole time.
Yeah, and again, like the beers could be mediocre, but when you have views and
Oh,
a location like that, it's like, man, you can brew mediocre beer and kind of get away with it. It's not like you're trying to brew mediocre beer in Asheville, North Carolina, where there's 400 other breweries within a mile.
And I'm surprised there was even 3 in this town. Like,
Yeah.
the fact, like, it was great. I can't recommend enough. If there's one place you got to go, it is to Yellowstone and the Tetons. Just for the views alone, it'll put life in perspective. I swear, that'll have you just reevaluating. You'll be so stress free.
So I can tell you the ones that are on our list: Yellowstone, Tetons, Glacier, and the Redwoods.
Ooh, the Redwoods, yes. The Glacier is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Glacier is not that far up the road. I mean, it's all kind of in a straight line. Like if you start at the Tetons,
Yeah.
then go to Yellowstone, and then you just drive straight north, you're going to be in Glacier. And then the Redwoods are about 12 hours from us out by San Francisco and stuff. But
Yeah.
we're hoping to get there before we leave. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good beer out there. Like I said, we're going to go to Yosemite, which is right outside of Sacramento.
Well, Matt, if we get out there while you're there, which I hope we can, you'll definitely be our tour guide for Idaho beer.
Oh, yeah. We're going everywhere.
Nice. Let's go. Lauren, you got any news? I need to step away because I've drank. I mean, I literally blew through this hard Mountain Dew like it was a fucking Mountain Dew. So I need to step away and grab a beer. I'll go back to the crew. I didn't show it, but I started with Matt. I'm glad you said it. Now you know why I was asking you guys about it, right?
Good.
Like I still haven't had a ranch water.
Oh, I have.
And that's what I'm waiting to experience. I've had some other brands of ranch water, and I'll be honest with you, I get it, and I think Matt will probably appreciate this, and I know Lauren does because she's kind of a fitness junkie, anyways. You know, you reach a certain age in your life, and you're like, man. The seltzers are the ticket, right? And ranch water, I think, is even more so. And ranch waters are mineral water, sparkling mineral water, some tequila and lime.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty
seltzer that I've had.
Yeah, they're pretty good, man. I'll be honest with you. And that I've made them myself with some tequila, mineral water, and some lime. I really enjoy them. My wife, I don't think they're flavorful enough for her, but I don't mind them. I think they're pretty good. If I could find a good one in a can, that'd probably be my go-to.
A lot of beer. I will say, if you go to the Hooters that is on the Riverwalk down in San Antonio, they will make you fresh ranch water, like
Nice,
straight up, and it's so freaking good.
Nice. And I think like the traditional ranch water is that, what is that, Topo Chico mineral water?
Yeah.
Right? Like that's like the start of the original, and then some lime and probably some very high-end tequila.
Yep.
Is probably the start of it, or the origination of ranch waters. But man, I enjoy them. I'll be honest with you. Even the kind of the shitty brand ones that I've had, I've enjoyed those. But I'm going to step away real quick. You guys take it on. I need to grab.
I don't have anything too exciting. You have all the hard-hitting news, so I'll go over the few pieces I have real quick. We mentioned last week that Orlando Ale Line, who we've had on as a guest before, and obviously they're in Orlando, Ravenous Pig Brewing, and Gatlin Hall Brewing. And so that makes total, they have those 3 plus Rock Pit, Big Storm, Broken Strings, Dead Words, Ivanhoe, Hourglass, and Firstman Hollow. If you're in the area and you want to check out some breweries, this is definitely the way to go. You only get off in the breweries you want to visit, and they're going to have 2 buses looping around now, so you can pick and choose which bus you go on and which breweries you actually stop at.
Ooh.
My next piece of news is Sam Adams is donating $100,000 to Safe Bars, which Safe Bars exists to train the hospitality industry in making nightlife safer and more inclusive. And they're thrilled to partner with Boston Beer and GLAAD, GLAAD, to strengthen the craft beer community. So they actually brew a beer every year, which I hadn't heard about this because I guess they don't like distribute it nationally. It's called what is it called? Love Conquers All Ale, or Love Conquers Ale. Ha, I see what they did there. Which is brewed by and for the LGBTQ plus community with Sam Adams. They started this in 2017, and if you haven't heard of it, it's because they're only in Boston, Cincinnati, Chicago, Washington, D.C., New York, and Philadelphia, but they do sell them in 6-packs and 12-ounce cans. So if you see it, pick it up. I didn't see that the proceeds are donated to anybody, but I guess it's still good to, promote that community because it is June, it is Pride Month. So this one's not really news. I clicked on it because it looked like it could be news. It was an article forecasting craft beer going up in the next 5 years, which is news. But there was a quote that I wanted to share with everybody. Quote, craft beer is basically traditional beers produced in small breweries. It is a rich source of silicon, antioxidants, protein, and vitamin B complex, and thus offers several health benefits, end quote. And my last water agency of Singapore launched a new beer that uses liquids, the country's rising threat of water scarcity. The beer is called New Brew, and the beer is suitable for Singapore's tropical climate. And the beer has a smooth, so it's purified liquid extracted from sewage and heavily tested and monitored.
Singapore's cleanest water?
That's what they say. I mean, if you think about it, they say every time we take a sip of water, it's been filtered through like multiple people's kidneys. Like,
It's
I mean,
true.
dating back to, it's probably been filtered through a dinosaur's kidneys.
It's true.
Yeah, but the fact that you're sucking water out of sewage and putting it in the beer and calling it like
I mean,
the
they're
cleanest,
filtering
You
the
wouldn't know
water
otherwise.
first. Yeah, you probably wouldn't know otherwise. But then they heavily test it as well because obviously they have to be careful or you could.
We're
make
thinking
Yeah.
about
sick.
the
You could
environment,
give
okay?
E. coli.
yeah. I mean, I like the idea, but think about it, right? Like there are some breweries that are making beer here off of spring water.
I think you shouldn't think about it if you're drinking it.
Who
Yeah,
cares?
I don't know that I want to
mean,
go to
if it's-
Singapore and drink beer.
Fun fact, we have a
It's
bunch.
probably way better than that Mountain Dew seltzer you just drank.
Probably.
Health-wise.
They probably made it with that reclaimed water.
Yeah.
Neon yellow.
Oh, I guarantee you, wherever this water came from for this hard Mountain Dew is recycled piss, like literally from the tap of
Frat
a
house.
literally from the tap of a municipal water supply, and that's what they do, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
that's essentially where all water comes from. It's recycled water. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, essentially. Look, you gotta think about it. If you're drinking spring water, you also
Everyone
have
else
like
pee in that.
animals and people and everything peed in that. So like, whatever.
Yeah, I agree, but like centuries ago, right? Like not.
necessarily.
Peed in that today.
No, you tell me that moose that went down to the river and just peed in there was centuries ago. No way.
I've peed in a spring before.
Yeah,
My
I mean,
son just
I
in the spring this past weekend.
like I.
Santa coming? What's happening?
Who's
Yeah.
Jingle Bells? Is that Rudolph in the background?
No, it's not. But
Christmas in
I will show you. I tried to cover up as best I could, but obviously it wasn't the greatest. Let me see if I can round him up. He's changed. He's changed a lot. Bubby. So our dog.
Here it comes.
Yep. Let me try to wrangle him because he just got in. So my wife just got in, and she brought the dog. And when she's at work, she puts this bell on the dog, and I told her he sounds like a goat, right? Because she's at the horse farm, and she's always worried about where he's at. She can't see him, but now she can hear him. So he has this goat bell. Let me see if I can round him
There
up
you
to
go.
come here. I think she just took it off, so it'll
Hey, to be fair, you're supposed to put bells on your backpack or your hiking poles while you're hiking so that bears know you're in the area.
Yeah. It's kind of the exact opposite for him. It's so she can find him when he's running around the horse barn for sure. But yeah, that's what the bells was. It wasn't Santa Claus wasn't coming to town, although the presents did just arrive. So
Woohoo. saw a kid in our neighborhood yesterday walking a goat.
Ooh, the old Boise Lager from Woodland Empire. Man, those guys, I tell you what, I
Man, what
don't
a
deserve
beer.
them out here.
No, you
They gave
don't.
me they gave me my first. Actually, I had a couple. I'm picking up one of their newer IPAs tomorrow. Funny enough, that because I owe you guys a couple boxes. So they out in Boise. Like if you get the chance to come to Boise and there's only one spot that you can hit up, it is Woodland Empire. I promise you on my life.
I've never even been there, and I could I
One
still
day
get
Lauren's coming to Idaho too, so that she can
I
go to
know, I
Woodland
need
Empire.
It's a really good beer. I mean, this is a lager. Matt, I would crush the fuck out of this like daily. It's such a good beer.
Oh, yes, too. I actually have one to you, which is equally as good. They crush every beer that they have, and that's not all bias aside. Like, if there's a beer that isn't good, I'll tell you. I've never had a bad beer from them.
Yeah, I really like this lager. It's weedy, right? I think that's the appropriate description in it. Very light. You can definitely tell that the beer is very well made because there's not a lot of other flavors to it, if that makes sense. Like it's not heavily adjunct or no adjuncts. It's a straight lager that is. I wish you'd have sent me 6 of them because I'd drink the
Oh, I can do that. They sell like their 12
drink the
packs are like $9.
fuck out of them on the beach this weekend.
They are good.
really how you tell the difference between a brewery that really knows what they're doing and one who doesn't is if their base beers are good.
Yeah.
Because nowadays you can throw any kind. I mean, I'm talking out of my ass here because I'm not a brewer, but it seems like there are breweries that can make amazing adjunct beers, and then when they make a base beer, it's meh.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
They brew beers with like beets. They brewed a beer with beets in them. They've done
beer
like
was
carrots,
good.
fresh beets, fresh carrots.
Nice.
Obviously, that was like the beer I did was with the donuts. They do a lot of cool experimentation, and Keely is actually their head brewer / owner. And man, she does the artwork most of the time. And the brewery in there, they have like pinball machines when you go in. So they have like 5 or 6 pinball machines. They're always hosting like state pinball tournaments, which is super rad. You can
Oh my
order
gosh, that's
pizza and food there. And then Christian, he's usually working behind the bar. He's probably one of the nicest human beings you'll ever meet. And they have a bottle shop as well. So you can get, Abomination Brewery, DC Brow, beers from kind of everywhere that distribute. They order them in. So you can hit their bottle shop. And then, of course, they've got their bar and stuff. And there's my dog going off now. So
I was gonna say, is that mine? Like that doesn't even sound like
that's
him.
mine. Nope, that's mine.
I love it.
I
There we
keep
go.
doing the fun.
He's in the same room now. He's like, where's that other damn dog at? Hey, in other news, right? We talked about Modern Times last week I think we talked about it last week on Instagram. I know we've talked about it once, but
We did, yes.
they're in receivership, right? One of the banks has I think our dog is listening to your dog because now he's going wild in the background.
The dogs are wild.
Yeah, it's a damn dog episode tonight. But anyways, one of the banks that Modern Times owes a substantial amount of money has recently petitioned the court to say that the debt is not included in the auction. I don't know what that means auction-wise, but I understand what they're getting at, right? Like the amount of debt that's owed is more than the $7 million that is the bid.
It is pretty funny. I'm not all worked out, right? It's I'm not gonna pretend I understand how any of this works, but what happened to Modern Times, man? Like, wow, they were a heavy hitter, and now it's this legal battle. They're selling off, and Maui Brewing Company was in the mix, and it's just crazy.
Well, I think Lauren probably knows they ran into some trouble with the Me Too movement, if I'm not mistaken. Correct, Lauren?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, I think they expanded really quick, and this is all speculation on my part. But like, I mean, we were getting Modern Times here a while ago, and I think they kind of expanded probably too quick because it was right when a lot of breweries were popping up. So,
Yeah.
when you stopped buying, got excited about Modern Times at Total Wine, and then the next week a new local brewery opened, and then yeah, they got Me Too'd, and I don't think that they handled it like they should have. They were one of the
Well, they
breweries.
doubled down on it, didn't they?
I think
Mm-hmm.
so. I don't remember exactly because I know I like combine a lot of them. What was it like? Mickler was one that doubled
Yeah.
down, and then somebody got like fired or taken off the social media, and then the whole Mickler Fest in Denmark, people were getting shit for going to that. So I think it was some of that, but I mean, yeah, if your debts are too high, you're gonna have to figure it out. You got to sell assets, or you got to transfer assets, or you got to do something.
I mean, yeah,
Because yeah, you can't
absolutely.
just keep everything and be like, oh, I'm done, even though you owe people. Granted,
But
all their creditors probably won't get what they're owed,
you got to make enough money to pay the bills.
or at least some of the bills.
I mean, yeah. I mean, pay the bills and then pay your employees and then some, right?
Like the elephant in the room is Stone,
Oh God.
right?
But
This
you're
is going to
right.
be interesting. Very interesting in the coming months when a $400+ million balloon payment comes due.
Yeah, that's true.
When stuff like that happens, like they'll probably figure something out. They'll end up financing it, and it's like, okay, this balloon payment's done. Then you get like a mortgage essentially, and you figure it out then. Like sometimes when you have balloon payments, they're like, oh, that's future Stone's problem. That's
So-
future person's problem.
Kick the can
So let
down
me
the
ask
road.
you this. Let me ask you this, Lauren, real quick. You're the person that holds that $400+ million note, right? Like they owe you that money. Where the beer industry is at today, are you going to sign? Are you going to sign another note that extends it?
Yeah, I don't know.
So
Yeah. Like
I
I'm
actually
calling it. Like you're paying it, or we're going to auction.
I have some
Yeah,
interesting
but it also
data.
depends on the value of the assets. Go ahead.
I mean, dirt.
Well,
Let's be honest with you. I mean, look at Modern Times, and I don't mean to interrupt you, Matt, but
no, you're good.
literally 2 years ago, Modern Times was approaching the whole crowdfunding thing, and they said we're worth their valuation then, if I'm not mistaken, was like $219 million.
Yeah, they were they were like employee owned, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and that's even the worst part, right? Like,
yeah.
so they said they were worth $219 million 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and now they're being liquidated for $7 million at best. If you're the person that holds that note for Stone, you're saying you pay up, or we're going to auction, and I've got to get $200 million out of you.
Yeah.
Can they own or rent? That can make a difference too.
Yeah, yeah, they're
Estate
real
in
estate.
general.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, most of Stone's real estate now is in California, which isn't worth anything right now. Like everybody's leaving California.
Yeah, they're
I mean,
coming
there's
to Florida.
yeah, or Texas or Arizona or yeah. Interesting. I will say that it's one of those things that I've put on my my news alerts. Right, is Stone Brewing. Even more interesting, Sycamore dropped their lawsuit.
Aw,
What?
Yeah,
Damn it.
they're probably just sick
Well-
of dealing with the BS.
When it
That's a shame.
comes to beer and how much is a brewery worth, and are you future God damn, my dog is back in here again. So I was looking at a thing today, like Gen Z's favorite alcohol types.
yeah,
Liquor and spirits are overwhelmingly like the favorite, and then you have flavored malt beverages, and then wine, and then beer.
yep.
Oh, aren't they fancy?
So like less than 50%. I was trying to squeeze this up before I sneezed. But
Yeah,
less than 50% said that beer, whereas 75% prefer liquor and spirits. And then you have your flavored malt and then wine, which I love wine too. But I mean, that's the future right there, right? Once we're all dead and gone, you can have these future generations coming in, and the fact that they're preferring these liquors, these all these other
That might
things than
change as
beer.
they get older too. Like I drank more liquor when I was younger.
Oh, I definitely was boozing it up with Keystone Light and cheap vodka when I was 21, 22, for
That
sure.
Popov in the plastic bottle.
Yeah, oh god. The Christmas tree or whatever we called it, like the cheap military special down from the class 6. Ugh.
But decades ago, right? Like not many decades ago, that scenario was flipped.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like beer, wine, you know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
it's just a
I wonder if it's like
crazy
a circle, you know?
yeah, it's just a crazy time in the beer industry that I've said it once and I'll say it a million times. The problem with the craft beer industry is that we have ridden double-digit growth for a long time that covers up a lot of mistakes and can cash flow a tremendous amount of debt. But when you get to where it's level or dips a little bit, shit's different, man.
Well, the bubble burst, right? That's what happened. Is that bubble kind of burst, and that's natural. That's going to happen with
Is it
any
COVID
industry, with any market.
moved up the bubble bursting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, COVID sped that timeline up way far because unlike wine and your spirits, I would argue that beer, their selling point is the tap room atmosphere, right? Like what events do you have going on in the tap room? Because when you're drinking beer, it's more of social, that kind of stuff. So it's like, what do you have going on at your brewery? So then COVID hits, they don't really have the ability to do that. So they're basically like that timeline sped up, the bubble burst. Now we're starting to get our footing again where you see these comedy shows, these pinball tournaments, these runs,
Yoga.
all sorts of things coming up. Trivia nights are back. So I wonder if it's now going to level out and beer is going to slowly recover or what's going to happen in the next couple of years.
Yeah, like part of me wants to argue with you because I'm like, well, I was still drinking at home and I.
Oh,
don't
me
drink
too.
tap
We
room.
were.
But the average
You got to think of the
fan, 100%.
casual.
Baby girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the casual person, like we do, right? Because we love craft beer. Aside from the
Right.
podcast, we like this stuff. But if you're somebody who like isn't gonna pick up that 4-pack, isn't gonna rush out to your brewery, you like casually going to trivia night on Wednesdays, having a couple beers at the spot that you like. That's the difference maker, right?
Yeah. Matt, didn't you have another piece of news, like good news, or was yours the Modern Times receivership?
No, my only other good news was the fact that Boise brewery is opening today.
Okay.
They invited me out there. They invited us out there. I couldn't be there because, with the kids and stuff. But yeah, we got a new brewery in Boise, so I'm hoping I can snag some of their beers and crowlers and
Do
we
it.
can share the wealth and get them on the show, kind of promote their brewery,
Do
get
it.
their name out there. So
Yeah.
that'll be in the works, and I'm super excited. I know I have like the breweries that I love going to, but it's always great when a new brewery opens because we talk about the breweries that are closing. It's too easy to talk about the breweries that are closing instead of the breweries that are opening. And so to still see
Celebrate
breweries
'em while they're
opening,
here.
expanding, yeah, it's great. So I hope to make it out there. They're young too, like a young couple that are opening this brewery. So it's cool to see that happening.
Yeah, for sure. If you're in that Boise area, go support a new brewery. I will tell you right now, it's hearing a new brewery opening is music to my ears at this point, right? Like we've talked about a lot of bad news recently, especially last episode where we talked about a lot of big breweries that we're all used to being very down on their volume. So. Go support them if you're out there. Stop in and tell them you heard about them on Hops News. Just
Seriously.
go support them and be a part of that grand opening. I know it's exciting times for those folks. And Matt, I'm looking forward to report on what you think of their product and their location.
Yeah. So I'll try to do a live from there. Like I said, they're 4 to 9 on the week, like Wednesday through Friday, and then Saturdays, Sundays are at 2. So I'm gonna try to swing through there and do a little live sesh. So I can't wait.
I'm looking forward to it, man. All right, let's go around the Hops News world. Let's go check in with Lauren and get parting shots. What do we have to look forward to?
With the geeks. Oh, actually, a few things. So I just did an article. If you're heading to Disney World anytime soon, or if you're just a big Star Wars fan and want to see what Disney has, I did a whole article on hopsnews.beer under Hops Geek News. It's tips and tricks for enjoying Galaxy's Edge and all the Star Wars stuff there. I had so much information and I had to condense it as much as possible. I feel like if you're going to Disney, it really would be helpful if you're a big Star Wars fan because there's so much to do there and there's so many people that want to do so much when they go there. And if you don't plan ahead, you can't do it all. So that article is up. We have an episode just dropped. We finished up our Star Wars month with talking about Mandalorian and Boba Fett. And tonight we're going to be recording an episode on Kamala Khan, who is also known as Miss Marvel. And of course, that TV show drops next week. So you'll have all your comic book origin and you'll be ready to watch the show. And I think that's it. I feel like there was something else, but I think that's it.
I'll let you know right now that The Boys, their first 3 episodes, literally have just now dropped on Amazon Prime.
Well, I guess we're not recording tonight.
Oh,
They have just dropped.
Oh, why do they keep doing this? They did this with Obi-Wan last week.
It is out. It is out.
nice. Love
All
it.
right, well, I will be watching that. It's going to be a late night.
It
It'd
is.
be a-
I got to see if Harry's down to watch because they are out.
Praise Jesus. Praise Homelander.
Yeah. Good things over there with Disney beer. Always great information. Go check it out if you're visiting Disney. Definitely worth it. And always great things from the geeks for sure. Let's go check in with Matt. Matt, what do we have to look forward to in parting shots?
Man, oh man. So I'm eventually going to get my Star Wars and What It Means to Me article up and out. I've been swamped at work, just absolutely swamped between work and basketball. So that's going to get up. But Lauren's pumping out some great articles. She's killing it with the content, really putting the geeks on her back. So I can't thank her enough. So that's out. We have some episodes out. Last week, we released a couple episodes, one of which was with the assistant director to Moon Knight from Marvel Studios. So go check that out, please. And yeah, in a couple weeks, we'll have the Wikipedia folks on, which if you're a Star Wars nerd like we are, or I am, then they run like all the basically what's canon, everything in the Star Wars universe. They run that whole stuff. So they'll be on. The Boys is out now. Like we said, there's so much good content coming out right now. If you are a nerd like we are, Stranger Things, Obi-Wan, The Boys, Miss Marvel premieres next week. So if you're nerds like we are feasting right now. And then, yeah, just as always, make sure you're just drinking local good beer. Like, promote your local breweries, help them grow, help us grow, and go to hopsnews.beer. You'll find all of our good stuff there, merch for the geeks, and all that good episode content in your ear holes. Lauren's having a freak out over there. She's praying to God.
Is called Payback. That is the team that Soldier Boy was on in the comics.
So Jensen Ackles is her favorite. So she's dying inside right now.
Yeah.
Keep it together. We're gonna record our episode.
She's gonna speed
watch
through
them
everything.
all
Like,
the night
hey, are
for
you
us,
done
and then I'm
yet?
gonna
Wrap it
rewatch
up.
them all tomorrow, so
Yeah. Lauren is chomping at the bit. She's like, if we hit stop yet, like we got to get tonight on the road. So
no,
Yeah,
we had
right.
a good episode planned for tonight that we're recording for Geeks, so I'm gonna keep it together.
No.
Together, man. Oh, and might I add, go Celtics, because game 1 of the NBA Finals are starting right now, and the Celtics defeated the Miami Heat, and Lauren and I made a bet, so she owes me. Just saying.
Yes, it's a win-win though. I get to pick out a trade back to send you, and you have to read it.
Yeah.
So I haven't
Well-
decided what I'm gonna send yet.
yeah.
That or just, I don't know. What's equal to a trade back out of Disney World?
Out of Disney World?
Do we have equals? I don't know. I'm eager. All I know is we had a bet, and yeah, go Celtics.
Go Heat.
Yeah, next year maybe.
Well, we made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. We had a good year,
Get it together, man.
and we lost in 7. It's not like you swept us.
No, but we beat that Irish. Anyways, check
Always
us
a
out.
good,
Hoppy
always good
Hour.
competition, and we're at the Geeks for sure. I'm not a pro basketball guy, so I'm out of that conversation. Hey, it's been a great episode. Good to be back on the normal feeds this evening. Always good to talk. A lot of beer news out there, folks. I cannot stress enough, if you have a favorite local craft brewer, go visit their tap room often and on a regular basis. It's the cost to produce beer and keep a tap room open is not becoming less by the day. I can assure you that. So go visit them. If you're in the Boise area, go check out the new brewery opening there. Looking forward to Matt reporting live at some point this weekend, maybe, so we can kind of hear what's going on out there, seeing their location and hearing about their wares. God damn,
Absolutely.
It's
That's the sound of
literally
freedom.
like, I will tell you guys, you have no idea what it's like when a new Top Gun releases, unless you're
I
at
have no
a
idea.
Naval Air Station.
I'll tell you
And
straight up. This is the sound every day that I hear. Welcome to my life.
I'm not on the end of shit like this, but last night was one of the worst nights since we've been here. Like 2:30 in the morning, these fucking guys were
Night
feet
flying,
from our
baby.
apartment.
That was my favorite because night flying meant it wasn't my problem.
Even our daughter was like, they do this at night, so they're training for what's going to happen, right? I'm like, well, possibly, but this is really late because it's usually done by 11. Like Matt knows they respect a little bit of the locals sometimes. But there's certain things that are happening in the world where sometimes they're just like, well, fuck it, we
got
can't
quotas
prevent
to
it.
fill a couple times a year. You got to do the night flying to keep them qualified. Actually, yesterday we got to go and drown pilots, which was
Nice.
they have to do their water training. So we got to drag them in boats and parachutes and stuff. It was great.
Yeah. So everybody's a maverick in Virginia Beach right now.
Oh, if I'm a Navy recruiter, I'm standing at the theaters.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. Especially around here.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, hey, it's been good. Appreciate everybody. Go check out Hops News. You can find us on all the platforms, social media, everything else. Go check out the Geeks. Always great information. Check out their merch and stay tuned. We'll try to get our shit together and tell you where we're going to be a day or two in advance next week, but we'll probably be on a different platform trying something new just so we can keep all the platforms fresh, because we can't hit everybody like this. As we found out tonight, you can't live stream on Instagram from a computer. So we definitely need to keep that platform pretty fresh as well. So we'll be bouncing around a little bit. But we'll work and get a schedule together so everybody knows where we're going to be. Hey, appreciate everybody tuning in. Go pick yourself up a hard Mountain Dew. Go fucking pick up a six-pack of these.
It's okay. You don't have to. Go pick up a beer.
Go pick up a six-to of these fucking things.
Go drink some water. Okay, go to church even. I don't know.
There you go. That will probably serve you better anyways. Go to church and repent for sure, you damn heathens.
Repent
All right,
with a
guys.
slight of beer.
Yeah. Appreciate everybody tonight. Good chatting. You guys have a great episode. And Lauren, let us know what you think of Boys when you're done with it. You don't have to tell the
Alright,
world.
no,
Just tell the
great.
group. Yeah.
It's just the first 3 episodes just dropped now, and then I think they're going to do everything on a week-by-week basis like they did with season 2.
Nice. Also, what's coming up is Yellowstone, November.
Yeah, we never finished that one. We only watched like the first episode.
That's horrible. Great series. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Everybody be
Peace.
safe. Cheers.
Go Celtics.
Go Heat.
Shut the fuck up. They're out. You only got 2 teams to choose from. They're out.
They're done. All right, guys.
All right, Lauren. I will send you a link in just a second. I'm going to prolong this so you don't get to watch The Boys yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to start watching it now.
All right.
I will talk to
Later,
y'all
Jay.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
So.